The anime begins 5 years ago, where the Empire of Arcadia was overthrown by a lone drag knight. His identity is a mystery to this day. People tell his tale by the name of Black Hero. The show begins when a boy named Lux falls through a roof into a lady's bathhouse and is locked in prison as a punishment. There he is confronted by Krulsifer, who asks him about his swords. Sheris and Talfer arrive and take Lux to the headmaster, who is his former acquaintance and makes no big deal of the incident. Lux is the former prince of Arcadia, and she asked him to join the academy as a student. Just then, Lisha, the girl Lux fell on in the bathhouse, breaks in and challenges him into a fight. She is the princess of Atismata, the kingdom that overthrew Arcadia's rule 5 years ago. Lux makes his way to the arena filled with a crowd and is confronted by Lisha. Immediately, Lux gets overwhelmed by Lisha's superior drag knight, and she uses one of her abilities to slam him into the ground. Just then, an abyss monster appears, and the students are forced to evacuate the arena. It breaks through the barrier and attacks Lisha, but Lux manages to shield its attack just in time. He instructs Lisha to support him from the ground while he distracts the abyss. Lux purposely lets the abyss attack him, giving Lisha enough time to attack and save the academy. Later, Lux wakes up after being knocked out and finds Lisha in his room. She shows him the Arcadian crest on her body and tells him to keep this a secret. The following day, Lux officially enters the all-girls academy and meets her childhood friend Felipe. After the class, Krulsifer asks him to look for Black Hero as she has some business with him. Later, Lisha shows him how he fixed his drag knight so he can participate in the upcoming Knight Squadron. She walks him around the place so they can get to know each other better. She reveals that she was held hostage by the Empire and his father was forced to participate in the coup. She was abandoned after the war, so she decided to become a member of the Empire to survive. The Arcadian mark on her body symbolizes that she was a prisoner of war. After her father's death, she became the new princess, but she thinks she's unworthy of being the next queen. The next day, Lux wakes up to the sound of the city bell and is informed of an abyss appearing in the Empire. All the Knight Squadrons leave for duty, leaving Lux and Ari behind. The Drag Knights try to restrain the abyss but are confronted by Velvet, who brings out a horde of gargoyle abyss to attack the Empire. Desperate times led to Lux participating in defense despite having a weak Drag Knight. Lisha tries to fight Velvet but gets knocked down immediately. He rips her clothes to reveal the Arcadian crest and states that he was the one who put it on her. Velvet is about to finish her off, but Lux arrives and shields her from the attack. He uses the sword to summon a divine drag ride, the same one used by Black Hero, and fends off the attack easily. It is revealed that he was the lone drag knight responsible for the coup. Some days later, Lux receives a warm welcome from the academy for saving them and being enlisted as a student. After the toast, the headmaster gives Lux a contract and reveals that whoever takes it from him will get to have him for an entire week. If he manages to keep it for 1 hour, he can have freedom in the academy. While hiding, he is found by Krulsifer, but she decides to conceal the information. She asks him to hand her the contract as the time is already up, and he abides but regrets immediately as she had messed with the clock's hands to deceive him. At night, the headmaster shows Lux the flute they retrieved from Velvet, which he used to control the abyss, and asks him to look into it as it can be the key to something big. The next day, Krulsifer reveals that a butler from her family will arrive to announce her engagement, and she plans to use Lux as bait to deceive the butler. Later, they go on a date, but get ambushed by Drag Knights of Arcadia, and Krulsifer summons her Drag Knight to defeat all the rebels. One of them runs away, only to be caught by Alterize, the butler sent to announce Krulsifer's engagement. While they chat, Lord Barzirdi arrives, claiming he wanted to see his future wife, Krulsifer, in person. She introduces her new boyfriend, and Barzirdi challenges him to a duel to see who is stronger. Krulsifer proposes they fight 2-on-2, and he leaves while giving them 3 days to prepare. Later, the great nobles are summoned and informed about an entity named Ragnarok, who will awaken powerful abyss demons that the Empire has suppressed. Barzirdi's father suggests that they look for a powerful weapon in ruins and volunteers his son for the job. At the academy, the headmaster informs the girls about the ruin exploration and shows them the flute, which can be a key to accessing the deepest part of the ruins. She hands it to Lux and entrusts him to guide the girls in operation. The next day, the squadron is joined by Barzirdi, who claims he is here to protect his future wife. The squadron gathers around the ruins and finds a Diablo's abyss guarding it. They engage in combat with it, but Barzirdi manages to take the abyss down. Just then, the ruin starts glowing until it explodes, and Lux wakes up inside it. Krulsifer asked him to head to the altar, where everyone would go to meet up. Upon reaching the steps on the altar and reveals that she is a survivor of the ruins, the altar recognizes her and opens a gate for her. In a tunnel made of small capsules, Krulsifer reveals that her father found her in one of these during surveys of the ruins. He erased her memories and took her to find more clues about the ruins. She figured she was adopted due to her siblings and maids acting distant toward her, so she worked extra hard to gain their love. Despite being rewarded with a divine drag knight, she was still left out of the family. She didn't want to believe that she was an outsider, so she visited the ruins, hoping all her speculations were false. However, her hopes were shattered when the altars responded to her, confirming that she belonged to the ruins. Lux tells her how the Empire abandoned his family and how he started to disgust everyone until Felipe saved them from pending doom. At night, it's time to fight Berserdi, but Krulsifer leaves Lux behind as she doesn't want him to be troubled by her personal matters. The battle commences and Berserdi immediately defeats her, but he reveals that he set up all her previous encounters to obtain her as a key to open the ruins. Just then, Lux arrives in Black Hero Drag Ride and figures out that Berserdi can steal the other Drag Knight's abilities, and when he uses them, it consumes energy from the original owner and not him. Lux struggles against Berserdi and Krulsifer asks him to stop fighting for her sake. He claims Krulsifer to be her lover and launches one final blow with all his strength, breaking through Berserdi's defenses. Since the prince is defeated, Krulsifer is no longer bound to marry him. Instead, her family has approved Lux as her new fiancé, and the two are to marry soon. Later, Lux walks around the grounds dressed as a girl, and one of the teachers tells him to be careful as there is a rumor of a stalker on these grounds. Earlier, Sheris informs him about the return of Celestia Raugris, the strongest third-year student who despises men. She then asks him to help patrol the grounds and dresses him as a girl to catch the stalker. While sitting on a bench, Lux notices a blonde girl talking to a cat and wonders who she is. Just then, the stalker shows up to detain Lux but gets interrupted by the blonde girl and runs away in the cover of a smokescreen. The next day, Lux recalls how the blondie was Celestia and that he had to lie about his name being Luno to keep his identity hidden. Lux meets Celestia and offers his help in suppressing Ragnarok, who in turn asks him to leave the academy as there is no room for men in a woman's school. The headmaster ends the argument by holding a duel between the two. The loser will have to abide by the winner's wish, and the duel will be held 3 days from now. At night, Celestia asks for a masseuse, and Lux is forced to disguise himself as Luno since she despises men and would never settle for a male. Celestia gets excited to see Luno and asks her to go out with her during break time tomorrow. Outside, a senior student, Senaya, suspects Luno as she has never seen her before, but Krulsifer intervenes and saves Lux from trouble. She warns him to stay clear of Senaya as she wants him thrown out of the academy. The next day, Celestia meets Lux disguised as Luno, and after spending some time together, she reveals she is not the man-hater everyone claims her out to be. Thank you so much for staying till the end. If you enjoyed our recap, give us a like and subscribe to our channel for similar videos.